everybody, and welcome to Top Hat Chat live with me, Street and Orb. Today on the channel, we are going to be looking at games that have been stuck in development hell for years, and there's a handful that we really want to talk about. What spurred this on was obviously the news this week that Final Fantasy VII, the remake, had been delayed again. Mm-hmm. And also that a game that we're both really looking forward to, Cyberpunk 2077, has also been delayed.
Unfortunately so. That was the biggest one that hurt, I think, a lot of people.
Yeah, because, I mean, with Final Fantasy VII, I mean, that has been delayed so many times that it almost feels like it's not coming.
No, I don't think it... Yeah, I mean, look, it's happened a lot of times, and I think a lot of people get a bit pissed off with that.
Yeah.
I am now in a position in my life where I don't find it as frustrating as I once did.
No, I mean, the first 35 times that I heard there was going to be a Final Fantasy VII remake, and then they said it's not happening, I was kind of like, well, okay, yeah, this is awful. I'm really upset about this, because this is definitely what we need. It wasn't just what the people wanted, it's what the people needed. Mm-hmm. And now it's just been delayed so many times that I don't care anymore.
I don't know if I don't care. I'm obviously a little frustrated that it's not forthcoming on the date that he said it's going to be.
I ceased giving a shit a long time ago.
But here's a good thing.
Go.
Here's a good thing.
Go.
So it's been pushed back to April, right?
Yes.
That's okay, because
Go.
Cyberpunk has been pushed back to September from its original published date of April, which means instead of Cyberpunk, we're now going to get Final Fantasy, going to get a nice couple of months to play Final Fantasy, and then we're going to get Cyberpunk afterwards.
The problem is with that logic is that what is even the point of releasing Cyberpunk on this generation of consoles at this point?
So,
I mean, Xbox are doing that whole thing where they're not releasing games exclusively on the Xbox Series X for 2 years, blah, 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 blah. Nobody gives a shit. But the PS4, the PS5... it should just go straight to PS5. It should go straight to exclusive at this point because it's so close to the release. Nobody gives a shit.
I don't agree, and this is why I don't agree. So CD Projekt Red released their statement around about the fact that they were delaying the release.
This is actually really nice of them, actually.
Yeah,
Their statement, was this the one of the statements was really nice? We're really sorry, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
blah,
no,
blah.
it was a really well-worded statement, and I feel it was actually very genuine, and they listed some very reasonable points about this release date. I think CD Projekt Red aren't under some of the same restrictions that certain other developers are who work under the umbrella of people like EA Games and stuff and Rockstar. Yeah. They're not under the cosh to release this at a certain date. They turned around and said, look, the game is finished. The game is finished. The game is finished.
I also didn't give a shit about that noise. But...
no, you didn't. It's a nice sprint there. They say, basically, that the game is finished. It's completely built. But they haven't got enough time to do the playtesting that they want to do, the tweaks, and to sort out the niggling and the bits and bobs. What?
If CD Projekt Red can do this, who, yes, are a big developer, but nowhere near as big as a developer as the next company I'm about to talk about, right? But if CD Projekt Red can do this with a game that hasn't got a massive backing, like as far as it's not like Red Dead 3, right? And it hasn't got loads of going, or GTA 6, right? Why the fuck can't Bethesda do that?
Well, you see, Bethesda, again, I think Bethesda are one of these companies that are kind of going along the EA Games line of things where they're like, we plough so much money into development and a lot of our money is tied up, and they're very greedy people.
Greedy fucks.
That everything it has to be done to these very specific timetabling.
You'd think they'd work for Nintendo being that greedy.
Well, yeah, exactly that. But they plan everything out because they're like, no, we need this money to come in at this point to satisfy certain investors and shareholders.
Scum.
And yeah, well, you know, that's the way that they've gone about things, and I think that's why they end up putting all this pressure on the development staff to release these games, usually not in a finished state. Whereas CD Projekt Red are kind of operating under this idea of they're in like an artistry studio, basically. Their games are very much like pieces of art. Like certainly Witcher 3, it was clearly a labour of love. They put in so much time and effort in the development of it. Yeah. And it paid massive dividends. Witcher 3 is consistently talked about as arguably the best game of the current gen. Like from a lot of people, from a lot of people's perspective, it is. And I have to admit, there are games that I prefer to it, but as a technical standpoint, from a technical standpoint, and from a pure enjoyment for that, it is arguably the best game released this generation.
Yeah.
And they have said in their lovely statement, they want this game, they want Cyberpunk to be the crown jewel of this generation of gaming.
I bet it's shit.
No, I bet it's not, and I think this is a good reason why. They've come out fairly early on towards, they've given us at least a couple of months until it was going to be released, and then they've gone, we're going to push it back. It's not like it got to the month, and then they've gone, like a lot of people do, like a couple of weeks beforehand, and gone, we're pushing it back, actually, like a lot of them do. They've given us a couple of months warning. They go, no, we're pushing it back. We want to play it more. We want to make these little twists and turns. We want to make these changes. They have built it up, but the anticipation is still going to be there for when it does eventually come out, and I think it's going to be a better game for it. It's not going to have to be released with a day one patch, hopefully.
Like it still fucking will.
No, it might do, but the patch probably will be like 500 meg or something stupid like that. And they've done the other clever thing with the development of this game, where the multiplayer is being developed completely separately, and they've already said that the multiplayer probably won't come out until 2022. That's how much they're actually separating the development of the multiplayer from the single player.
Is it going to be like the Death Stranding multiplayer? Sorry, I have to put it out. Where it's just, your environment will change over time based on what other players do. It's like, I don't give a shit. A player built a bridge here.
It could...
I still don't fucking see anybody. This isn't multiplayer.
It could be. It could be like that. But I genuinely think that's why they're going to do it. And I applaud them for giving us plenty of time, and I totally sympathise with their position. I think it's going to be worthwhile. I'm still massively excited about the game. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, we don't get it when they said we were going to get it, but I'm holding out hope. I do think it's going to pay off. I'm willing to give CD Projekt Red, with their track record, the benefit of the doubt. That's the important thing here.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing, in my opinion.
I will hold out some hope, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're building it up too much now.
Plenty of
because they're saying we're delaying it by 6 months.
Yeah,
5 months, 6 months. Yeah. So if it doesn't come out perfect, people are going to pick holes.
You can't. Yeah, but then people are going to pick holes anyway. No game is perfect.
But that's what's going to be expected.
Yeah, okay, but then that's silly expectations, because no game has ever been released perfect. Like, there are some brilliant games that I absolutely adore that needed patches to sort them out. Yeah. And I'd rather that CD Projekt Red try to avoid that. Yeah. By having this extended release date.
So just throwing some things out there, we have Vlad said. Sorry, I'm just going to find this comment 'cause I liked it. Red care about their reputation. Bethesda are a publisher now and don't care about anything but the mighty dollar. Yeah, that's pretty much how it feels. Lots of people saying that they're really excited about the game, which is quite cool. Mm-hmm. And also, Silver says, Witcher 3 has one of the best start zones I've experienced. Great opening act that didn't feel like a tutorial. You get taught you all of the tools you needed to get into the game properly. So, I mean...
That's so true. The opening area of Witcher 3 has one of the best missions I've ever played in any game ever. One of the best quests ever. I think it's called the Bloody Baron. I think it's called that. It might be called something else. Yeah. A couple of the Witcher 3 fans like Silver would be able to correct me on that. And it's about this Baron and his wife who have had like a miscarried child and stuff like that. And that is one of like the first 6 or 7 missions you'll play in the game. And it is almost flawless. It is such a good mission.
Anyway.
And it's in the opening section.
Anyway,
brilliant.
We're not here to lick the balls of...
I think Vlad said something important though,
okay,
just now. Vlad said something very important.
Quickly.
I'd never mind delays as long as devs keep communication. It's all we need is communication, and that's what CD Projekt Red have done.
Communication is,
and that's what I want.
Exactly. Right. Okay. So we're going to talk about some other games that have been stuck in development hell for years, and the one that I want to talk about first of all is probably going to be Duke Nukem Forever. Because this has got one of the most ridiculous development times ever.
So protracted.
It started in 1997 and finished in 2011.
Yeah, I mean, was it Gearbox who ended up eventually publishing it, I believe, in 2011?
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Such a huge wait for such an iconic
That's what, like 14
series
years?
of games. Yeah, 14 years to get a game that everyone really wanted. And we were seeing advertisements for this 99, 98, 2000, 2001. I remember seeing it in Games Master, places like that. They were advertising this game.
How hard would it be to make a fucking Duke Nukem game? Seriously.
It's nuts. It is. I mean, you would think it would be pretty easy, right? There's not much to muck around with the formula for a Duke Nukem. But it says a lot when Duke Nukem Forever was announced. I was in primary school delivering an excellent display as the butcher in the epic production of Jack and the Beanstalk.
Nice, yeah. The most popular character in Jack and the Beanstalk, the butcher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then by the time it come out, I was 21, balls deep into French existentialist literature at university. Like, that is a huge gap. It missed my entire teenager years.
Yeah.
Like, that's the age you want to play a Duke Nukem game. It missed everything about that. And it was such a long time, and it was such a massive kick in the bollocks, because it was shit. It was so shit. I really wanted it to be good, and it was never going to be good after 14 years. It was never going to be good. And
Land of the Babes was the peak. It's the pinnacle of Duke.
Land of the Babes is up there. Obviously, 3D is one of my favourites as well. I'm a big fan of Time to Kill. Duke Nukem is an iconic character. Brilliant music. Brilliant character. Brilliant design. I loved it. And then they took 14 years to fuck about and then give us something that was just
basically
so terrible.
Take a red hot dump on our chests.
So terrible.
Which some people might enjoy more than others, but I didn't. Okay, so another game that we want to talk about is Diablo 3. Started development in the year 2000 and didn't get a release until 2012.
So 12 years, man. So, that was a big deal. With 2000, the time of the Millennium Bug,
Maybe that's what fucked it.
It was the turn of the millennium. The world was an exciting period. Tony Blair was reigning supreme, 3 years deep into his premiership.
Stop it.
It was a glorious era. Everyone had money in their pockets. There was 2 towers still standing in New York City. We hadn't met George Bush yet. It was a good time.
The thing is, you can't say meeting George Bush is a terrible thing, because George Bush is an incredible human being. Have you not seen his compilations on YouTube?
Oh, mate, he was a meme factory before meme factories were a thing. But it was a simple time, and we were ready for a new Diablo. Diablo 1 and 2 had rocked the PC world. Like, Diablo 1, obviously bringing about the series. 2 refined what made 1 so good, and it was a really fun game. Everyone knows about the Secret Cow level being like one of the greatest callbacks to a proposed secret in the first game that didn't exist. They pulled it back and actually made it in the second one. It was a really good game. Everyone was excited for 3. And then it takes 12 years for the new one to come out. But unlike Duke Nukem Forever, it was actually good. Although the marketplace, everyone remembers the marketplace for Diablo 3 was a massive fuck up at the start. Diablo 3 actually kind of lived up to expectations. Maybe not a 12-year wait, but it wasn't a bad game. Yeah. And I think that softened the blow somewhat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever had much fun playing Diablo 3, but I know a lot of people that have. And a lot of people really enjoy it.
Yeah, so a couple of comments just to quickly read out, which I think is worth doing. So we have Ferris James says, Auburn Street, we don't need another Duke Nukem game, bloody fools.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
I really want... Look,
the thing is that it would sell, and then immediately people would start screaming at it that it's not something that we need.
I think we do need it in this day and age, right? Because you're starting to see a little bit of a comeback against the woke culture that we are a part of now.
Short-lived woke culture.
Right.
It lasted, 3 years?
We were playing a game last night. Me and my friends were playing Quiplash.
Okay.
And it was the era of 2010 to 2020 will be known as the blank age. And I called it the woke and broke age because everyone was woke and everyone had no money.
Yes.
That was what this age was. And we're starting to see a slight little turn against it encapsulated perfectly with Ricky Gervais's performance at the Golden Globes this year, where people are starting to get a bit pissed off with this sort of PC culture, and it's starting to permeate into some more of the mainstream again. I'm not someone that thinks everyone should start being racist and stuff again. That's ridiculous. What I do think, though, is that we do need a bit more of that toilet humour-y kind of just South Parkiness.
Do you know what? The last 50 years have been a little bit too woke for me. Let's go back to the 70s.
Right, I'm not saying that.
Good old 70s.
I'm not being top hat. That's not what I'm saying. Right, but what I'm saying is we do need a bit of that 90s kind of like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, we're going to talk about bollocks and fucking and doing all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
That's what we need. And I think a new Duke Nukem game would be good.
Pixelated breasts.
Yeah, that would. It's fun just to get that sort of like that harken back to that day. I think that would be good fun.
Okay, so that's two games that we've spoken about after the more recent ones, I suppose. So another game that was stuck in development hell for years was Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15, 2006 to 2016. That's 10 years of waiting for a Final Fantasy game that I think a lot of people didn't really give a shit about by the time it came out. So much so that they even stopped releasing the DLC that was promised for it.
So Final Fantasy 15 is a really interesting one. When it got announced in 2006, it was actually announced.
Use that term a bit loosely.
What?
Interesting one.
I liked Final Fantasy 15, and Garfolk did as well. If Garfolk was here, he'd be able to back this up as well. But here's the interesting thing about 15. So 15 was announced originally.
Fuck you both.
You're a dick. It was originally announced as Final Fantasy Versus 13, as like a direct sequel, kind of like an X2 for the 13
There's always
series.
a few, wasn't there? There's 13...
Yeah, but it was meant to be part of that. Like, that's what it was originally announced as. And
13-4.
I think they originally got the message that 13 sucked balls and they weren't going to have any more part of that.
They probably sold more calling it Final Fantasy 15 than 13 anything, so yeah.
Yeah, right. So they ended up cancelling that out, and then they was like, do you know what, we really want to do another MMO, and then we obviously had the fucking kerfuffle that was Final Fantasy 14, which released and everyone hated it, so they killed it and then re-released it as a different game and everyone loved it. So that was cool. And then they eventually got round to releasing 15 10 years down the line from its original inception.
Yep.
As an action RPG, more actiony RPG, still set commands and stuff, but it's not turn-based anymore. Although I think you could have it as that, but I never did it because I
didn't realise, literally looked at it and went, nope.
It didn't seem right, and I think you're being very unfair to it because it is good.
I might have to give it a go.
15 is good. It is a lot of fun. It's hard to get over.
The 7 remake might sell it.
Well, this is the thing, right? It's hard to get over how Japanese boy band it is, like, because your crew is, I think, patently unlikable. Like a lot of people adore them. I don't get it. Like,
yeah, it's not like the 10 lineup, is it?
No, the 10 lineup is also pretty much unlikable. On the
Lulu's amazing.
Right, one.
Walker's funny.
Walker is not funny.
He is funny.
John DiMaggio phones it in for the entire performance.
He loves
it. No, you can't say Tidus because he's lame as balls.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be cringy.
No,
anyway.
don't say. Right, but 15 is, and that was a good game. 15
Kimari.
was a good game. Whatever.
Wasn't a character.
Right. 15 was a good game. Was it worth a 10-year wait? I don't know. I don't think so.
God, no.
But it did look pretty. It did play nice. And it is going to be the basis of what 7 is going to be. And when we saw like I said, I've said this many times on this channel, as we saw with the release of Resident Evil 2, the remake, I now hold out a lot of hope for the Resident Evil 7 remake. And if they're going to use what they developed for 15, I think it will go well.
Resident Evil 7?
Whatever. Final Fantasy 7.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, another game that was stuck in development hell for a long time, which I actually don't really want to talk about too much, but I'm going to let you do a little monologue briefly, is Beyond Good and Evil 2. So, yes, 2007 it got started in development, and it's still not here.
So Beyond Good and Evil 1 dropped like 2003, I believe, and it's very popular. A lot of people loved it. I actually never really played Beyond Good and Evil. It never sort of entered my sphere of gaming. But loads of people love it. It's regularly mentioned. It's actually just popped up on our screen as we're talking about it now, which is quite funny.
We might give it a go over on twitch.tv/TopHatChat. We're going straight after this stream. Come and find us.
Nice
It takes no time to set up an account if you haven't got one already.
Nicely done.
Thank you very much.
Obviously developed by, I think, Ubisoft.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. And a lot of people loved it. But so they was like, okay, we're going to do it, and they said, okay, 2007 rolls around. This is when we're going to start development. It's 2020 now, 13 years later, and it's still not dropped. And in fact, I don't think they've released much about it at all, other than them still insisting that they are in fact doing it.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Well, it kind of feels like Psychonauts, because Psychonauts was another one of those games that kind of went underneath a lot of people's radars. And then all of a sudden, they're like, Psychonauts 2, and everyone was like, whoa, amazing. Most people that thought it was amazing never played the first one.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, like, Psychonauts is a very underrated game that not a lot of people have played, and more people seem to be excited for a sequel
one.
to a game that they've
Never
never played
the
before.
first, yeah.
It's very weird, and I think this is going to have a similar effect, because I don't remember Beyond Good and Evil actually being like a chart breaker in the sense of amount of copies sold and stuff. But
Maybe we're wrong, but yeah.
Maybe we're wrong, and I'm happy to be
Maybe
better
it's just our
informed.
circles.
Yeah, maybe so, but I don't really know anyone that got fully into Beyond Good and Evil. But you know, when you're talking about a 13-year development cycle, that is a massive amount of time.
Yeah.
You also have like Mother 3 as well, which
this is a really interesting one to talk about. This is one that I actually really want to talk about, because obviously Earthbound was a huge game. Never got a European release. And Mother 3 is widely regarded to be amazing. Obviously, there's lots of fan-made patches and shit, which gives you the English language translation. And people have been crying out for Mother 3 for years. And Nintendo are just like, no. We've got new IPs. It's like, we don't care about your new IPs. We want Mother 3. And they're like, but new IPs?
Again, I'm willing to be better informed about this, but I believe it was started development, and then they dropped it around 2001, and then they reused some of the assets to make a game, to make Mother 3 again, into like 2006 or something.
I don't know.
It's on the GBA, isn't it, or something?
It's nothing I'm aware of.
I can't remember. I
know Mother 3, it got a Japanese release.
Yeah, it has had the Japanese release.
Never ever got the English release. Everyone wants an English language release. Line 6 says fans translated it. Fuck Nintendo. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Fans did translate it. But it'd still be nice to be able to get it on the Switch.
Yeah.
You still need reasons to own a Switch. There's still few and far between for me, personally. There's a handful of great games on there, but meh.
I mean, there's one that I remember that was stuck in development hell for a long time, and that was the movies by Lionhead Studios.
Okay.
So the movies was a PC game that sort of come out, I'm going to say, late 2000s, probably around 2008, 2007. And I do remember that getting actually announced up around about 2001, 2002, actually. So yeah, that was about it's about a 6-year cycle till that one come out. And there was a big deal about what that game could actually offer you. The whole idea was you'd make your own films inside a game, and it was like a studio lot simulator as well.
So kind of like Manhunt.
Manhunt.
Yeah, that's all based
Not
on...
snuff films, like actual films.
Not as fun.
And then obviously, because it's a Peter Molyneux special, it didn't exactly come with the things that they said it was going to come with.
Of course it fucking didn't.
You know, but no, leave Peter alone. He tried his hardest.
Peter, first name terms.
Yeah, well, you know, me and Peter are good friends.
It wasn't exactly black and white too, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't exactly that. But, you know, I still think that, you know, it did give you a lot, and it really is quite a good game, and not a lot of people like to admit it. That one took a long time. And then I think when you're looking at a whole host of other games that have never been even released and ended up getting cancelled after being in development hell for so long, you could look at games like Bully 2, for example. Obviously, Bully took a long time to develop for Rockstar. And then they announced the second one actually fairly soon afterwards, after the first one got a pretty good deal. And then they dropped it, and then they announced they were going to do it again. Like, about 10 years later, they said, actually, no, we are going to do Bully 2. And everyone went, okay, that's really cool. Let's play Bully 2. And then they've only just recently announced that they're not doing Bully 2 again. So it's like, oh, so that again, is that stuff?
Could you imagine Bully 2 now? You'd just be like, oh yeah, no, I've gone home for the weekend and now I'm going to text my insults to all of my friends. Like, yeah, it wouldn't be the same game, would it? Let's be honest.
No, it really wouldn't be.
Let's go on social media and create memes about the people that I hate in hopes that they'll do damage to themselves. Like, yeah, it's just not going to be the right game, is it? Let's be honest.
No.
It's a little bit too... I think it hits a little bit too close to home, even for Rockstar. Because even GTA games are a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, but Bully's quite tongue-in-cheek. No one likes to really... I guess people don't like to make fun out of schoolyard bullying, but, you know... Bully had a lot to offer, and I really enjoyed it.
It's an interesting game.
I
legitimate punishments for getting caught doing shit as well.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I would like to point out as well, Mad Scientist Jr.
Go.
Clearly saw that we got most of our research for this topic from Wikipedia this week.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's not always the case, but this week it was the case. Thank you very much for noticing. Didn't talk about Alien Colonial Marines because I fucking hate it. Yeah. And yeah, that was pretty much the reason why.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for like, as someone just said in the comments as well, development cycles for games are getting longer in general.
Yeah, that was Silver, yeah.
Yeah, and that is true, and that is a little bit of a disappointment. But I don't mind a long development cycle for a game if they iron out the problems. Mm-hmm. And if they do iron out the problems with these longer development cycles, I don't see any issue with this at all. So again, I don't see the problem with pushing back Cyberpunk and pushing back Final Fantasy VII. I really don't, as long as they iron out the problems.
Yeah. Just as a last little note that I'm going to make before the end of this stream, people talking about GTA London being made. We don't need GTA London. We got Mafia. No, not Mafia. The Getaway.
I didn't like the Getaway.
Yeah, but that's as close as we're ever going to get.
Do you know what I liked about the Getaway? There was one thing I liked.
Why did I say Mafia?
Mafia? I don't know. There was one thing I liked.
Go.
One thing I liked.
Quick. Really quick.
To give you directions of where you went in the game, it used your indicators to tell you which road to go down. I thought that's a really nice touch. When I played that as a kid, I was like, that's cool. Yeah. No one uses indicators in games. No, they don't. Just like real life. Yeah, but they don't ever use them in games other than this one.
Well, you kind of need to in London.
Well, you
otherwise
do.
You get sideswiped or hit a cyclist. Anyway. So that was our little video about games with ridiculously long development cycles. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't already done so, we must be worth a subscribe. We're alright people.
We're alright. We're
alright people. Well, we greatly appreciate all of your support. Any comments about games that you like would be definitely read in the comments. And a like always helps this video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so thanks so much if you go and do that. You can find us at all the usual places. We are over on Twitter. Our Twitter handles are at the bottom of the screen. Just down there. You can't see mine. Wait. There you go, you can now. And yeah, we're over on Instagram. You can just search for us and type that chat. We also have our own ones. Just search for us. Can't be that hard to find. We are also over on Twitch, which we are heading to right now. That's twitch.tv/Top Hat Chat, where we're going to be playing a load of retro games. We're not completely sure yet which ones, but
it's going to be another retro menagerie.
Yeah, we're just going to play some old games. Why not?
As it's the end of the video, I think it's appropriate time to thank our Patreon backers.
Yeah.
They would be Andy Aldrich, Seabass the Great, Vamtonius, and Tom Elliott. You are all greatly appreciated. Thank you ever so much. Your patronage is awesome.
Yeah, so we do have a Patreon. If you fancy it, pop over there. We're going to be renewing it soon. But so thank you so much for being a part of this video. And we have been reading the comments in the side notes, and you've made us all smile. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Catch you later.
Ta-ra!